He stared at the massive factory machine that everyone had already declared dead. Sparks flickered from the open panel, smoke curling upward like a warning. Around him, workers whispered, even the original engineers failed, what makes him think he can do it? But the 35-year-old mechanic, Liam Carter, wasn't listening. He couldn't, not after what the CEO had said, half jokingly, half out of frustration. Fix this broken machine, she had laughed, and I'll marry you. Everyone laughed with her, but Liam didn't, because for him, it wasn't a joke. He had admired her from afar for years. The CEO, Aurora Collins, was known across Canada's tech industry, smart, tough, and always in control. But her manufacturing plant had been struggling for months. The machine responsible for 40% of production had broken down, delaying orders and putting hundreds of jobs at risk. Engineers from Toronto, Vancouver, and even Montreal tried fixing it, but each one shook their head and walked away. Replacing it would cost millions the company didn't have. Aurora was holding the weight of hundreds of families on her shoulders, and the cracks were beginning to show. Liam had worked quietly as a mechanic in the plant for 7 years. He wasn't the loudest, the smartest, or the most decorated. But he understood machines the way some people understood poetry. When Aurora made that offhand joke, it wasn't the promise of marriage that pushed him forward, it was the desperation in her voice, the exhaustion in her eyes. He knew she needed help. So he volunteered. Aurora had blinked, surprised. Carter, this isn't a car engine. This thing is practically a computer running on steel. He simply nodded. I know, but let me try. He spent the first night sitting on the cold factory floor, studying every wire, every screw, every burnt connector. When he touched the machine, he felt something people rarely understood: machines have moods. They tell stories, and this one was screaming in pain. Hours turned into days. He barely went home, showered in the locker room, and ate whatever his coworkers brought him. Some teased him, others admired him. Aurora checked in every morning, her worry growing deeper as she saw his tired eyes and grease-covered hands. On the 5th night, long after everyone had gone home, Liam discovered something no engineer had noticed: a hidden sub-panel behind the main chamber. A series of wires had melted together, causing data relay failure. Fixing it required precision so delicate that even a slight mistake could fry the entire system permanently. His hands shook. This was the moment that could make or break the company, and him. He took a deep breath and began. Hours passed. Sweat dripped from his forehead. Once, his vision blurred from exhaustion, but he didn't stop. He kept telling himself, people are counting on this. She's counting on this. When he finally secured the last wire, he sat back, breathing hard. The factory was silent. He pressed the power switch. For a second, nothing happened. His heart dropped. Then, like a miracle, the machine hummed softly. Lights flickered. Motors rolled. The system came alive for the first time in months. Aurora, who had been pulling another late night in her office, heard the sound and ran down the hall. When she burst into the factory floor, she froze. Liam was sitting beside the running machine, smiling for the first time in days. You did it," she whispered. He nodded, too exhausted to stand. She knelt beside him, her eyes filling with tears of relief. "Do you know what you've just saved? My company, my workers, my family's legacy," her voice cracked. She didn't hide it anymore. The next morning, the entire plant erupted in celebration. Workers cheered, clapped him on the back, lifted him in the air like a hero. But the most unexpected reaction came from Aurora. During the press conference, when reporters asked how they'd saved the plant, she looked at Liam with the softest smile he had ever seen. "Someone once joked that I'd marry whoever fixed that machine," she said. The crowd laughed. She continued, "It was a joke, but what he showed me wasn't. His dedication, his heart, his courage, those weren't a joke. Those were real, and rare." Liam's face burned red. He never expected anything more than a thank you. After the conference, Aurora walked up to him privately. "Liam, I wasn't serious about the marriage comment. But I meant what I said today. You showed me what real loyalty looks like. What real strength looks like. I'd like to know you better. Not as an employee, as a person." He swallowed hard but managed a smile. "I'd like that too. The story spread across Canada, how a humble mechanic saved a company, hundreds of jobs, and found something more meaningful than a joke. Aurora didn't marry him overnight. They took their time. They went for coffee, walked along frozen lakes, talked about life, fears, dreams. And in those quiet moments, Liam realized that some miracles aren't loud. Sometimes they begin with a broken machine, a tired mechanic, and a CEO who learned how powerful kindness and faith can be. In the end, the message was simple. Even when the world doubts you, even when you feel invisible, one act of courage can change everything: your future, your destiny, and sometimes, your heart.